y'all. It's Ashley.
And Shantavia,
And
and
this
this
is
is
Obedience
Obedience
Podcast.
Podcast. So today we have a very, very, very special guest, and I am excited. How about you,
I'm
Ashley?
excited to meet Auntie.
Well, she requested to be on this podcast almost last year around the time that we started, but we wanted to wait until the perfect time, and we know that now is the perfect time. So let me give you guys a little background on who we have today. So she is an author of My Life Was Centered Around the Wrong Men, a motivational speaker, the founder of Hats and Heels Incorporated, and above all, she's a God-fearing living testimony. So I want to introduce to you all my aunt Andriana.
Woo! Inserts clap.
I have been eagerly awaiting to join you ladies. I so enjoy your podcast. I'm always watching on Facebook, but mostly on YouTube, and I really enjoy it because I love what you guys offer for the community, and it's just been very beneficial. You know, very beneficial. And I just like to tell you guys to keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So we always like to start off with the icebreaker question. So with the reboot of Supermarket Sweep, Leslie Jones is the host this time. With the reboot of that show, I was watching it and I thought it was interesting how each team had a food name. So I was wondering, like, if y'all were a guest on the show, what would be your food name? Your team name. It has to be a food item.
I think we would call ourselves the Hamburglers.
Oh, I like that one. The
Hamburglers.
Hamburglers.
Because we're coming to take the prize. Okay. I like that one.
See, I had to go and research the show because I do not remember that show.
I used to watch it I think it was like old episodes, but I was still a kid. But it was an older episode when I was a kid.
I don't remember it all, so I had to go research
We
it.
used
So
to
I did
watch
watch
it.
the first episode. I said Team Cookies
Okay,
because I
Cookie.
have a love-hate relationship with cookies.
You want to elaborate on
I love them, but then I hate them because once I start, I can't stop.
I understand. It's mostly love with me.
That sounds about right, ladies, because I think that's the same thing I have the issue with hamburgers. I love hamburgers.
You know what I like most on my hamburger? And it will also be my team name, pickles. I like extra pickles on my hamburger. A crispy pickle. And don't give me no sweet pickle, because I don't. They supposed to be separate.
Out of everything on a hamburger, you like the pickles the most?
Extra
Not even a beef?
spicy. Let me give you my Chick-fil-A order. Spicy chicken sandwich, extra pickles, Chick-fil-A sauce and Polynesian sauce. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, so now that we've broken the ice, we want to go ahead and jump into our discussion. So, briefly describe your journey to everyone of discovering your lupus diagnosis and also your journey to creating your nonprofit organization, Hats and Heels Incorporated.
As any patient will tell you, um, getting a diagnosis to lupus is very difficult. Um, you will not walk into any physician um, within the first 6 to 8 months with a diagnosis. You will see several specialists. It's a very, how would I say, it's a very manipulative disease. So it kind of mimics other diseases. So you'll 9 times out of 10 you'll get those diagnoses first until you finally make it to the rheumatologist, which specializes in lupus, and then you have certain tests that will give you false positive. Because I mean, even if you get that positive ANA or something, it's usually other symptoms and signs that the physicians are looking for to diagnose you with lupus. So it was a very, very trying time trying to get a diagnosis. And as I speak to other women in our patient support group, I've learned that this is normal. You know, a lot of people tell me that, oh, it took about 5 or 6 years for me to be correctly diagnosed with lupus. And yes, and that actually happened to me as well. I seen several physicians before I was accurately diagnosed with lupus, and was really long for me, you guys. I was diagnosed 23 years ago.
Wow.
And when I was diagnosed with lupus, there was little to nothing about there. I remember Dr. William Baudet at Providence Hospital telling me, go to the library, because internet wasn't even out there like that, like it is today. So he was like, Miss Bush, go to the library and look up some things, and you can find out. And I'm like, but you're the physician. And then he explained to me, in all the medical books, there was only a paragraph mentioning lupus. So then just recently, about 2 years ago, went off to UAB and found out that I had another form of lupus, which, I didn't, I was like, oh my goodness, how could this happen? So lupus is very tricky. It's very hard to diagnose. It's very hard to track. That's why I tell people all the time to keep a journal and journal your symptoms and journal the things that you're experiencing, so that when you go to the physician, you can have all this information right here, in front of you, and you can ask him about some of the things that you're experiencing, and he can, speed up the process. But it's a very, very long process of being diagnosed and symptoms. But yes, one being you're very fatigued, fatigue, and another one is inflammation and swelling and perspiring, over perspiring, um, highlighted skin, stomach issues, bowel issues, joint issues, yeah, heart issues, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of symptoms. So many people don't know that there are different types of lupus.
I didn't.
Me.
Yeah, it's different types of lupus. I mean, you can get a form of lupus when you get pregnant, and it's called neonatal lupus. Pregnant women get gestational diabetes. You can get neonatal lupus, and and then there's drug-induced lupus. Certain medicines you take, oh yeah, certain medications that you take can give you signs and symptoms of lupus. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the latest news that I, know of. Is I'm going to try to pronounce it. It's very difficult for me, even when I go into the ERs and doctors and tell them that I have it. I can't really pronounce it, but it's called antiphospholipid lupus. And what that is a form of lupus that throws out blood clots.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a form of lupus that throws out blood clots. So yeah, and then it's discord lupus, and that's the people you will see like Seal, the musician, and you'll see some people with the darker skin or the leathery type skin. That's the skin lupus, or you'll see them with the missing hair. But it's all a form of lupus. And then there's systemic lupus, which is the one that hit every part of your body, and that's the one I have also. So yes, ma'am, it's many different forms of types of lupus, and there's no cure. And researchers say 2/3 of the people know little or nothing about lupus besides its name. That's all they know, lupus. They don't know that it's an autoimmune disease that causes the body to fight itself. But it was very hard, ladies. I went through a lot. I didn't understand a lot, and like I said, wasn't no information out there about it. So I was kind of people were beginning to shun me or look at me as if I was hypochondriac, because one thing about having lupus, people tend to judge you by the way you look. And if you look a certain way, they feel as though, oh, she's not sick. She's not sick. She looked this way or she looked that way. But you cannot judge lupus by a person looks, because my outer shell can look one way, and then on the inside, my body is literally fighting itself. It's fighting itself. It's a very difficult disease, and it was a very hard time being diagnosed. And out of desperation, because people wasn't talking about lupus. Even now today, it's really challenging to get people to tell their story. I don't know, what it is or what about it, but a lot of people like to kind of shy away and deal with it on their own. And that's kind of where I was headed, but I saw that it was taking me downhill, sort of into a depression, and I needed to voice what I was experiencing. So out of desperation and out of wanting to be heard, Hats and Heels was birthed. And I went into a coma, and I was on life support. And when I came out of the coma and came off life support, this was the vision God gave me. And I'm like, Hanson, he'll lupus. I'm like, but I gotta do this. I gotta put out books. I'm supposed to be a school superintendent. You know how we do. We try to plan our life, and then God, show us, he humbles us, and then we begin to see, okay, this is God's plan for my life.
Yes.
So I humbly accepted what God called me to do. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure because I've gotten a chance to meet other women, women that when thought I was going through this by myself, or I didn't understand some of the symptoms and some of the anxiety that I was experiencing. And then when I heard these women talk, I was flabbergasted, honestly. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, wow, I was experiencing that. So I knew then that this support group was vital to the community, because we can come in and we can share ideas and hopes and fears, and we just could collectively support one another and encourage one another to fight this battle that a lot of people don't know about. I mean, even when I go out to like sponsorships, and most people, they'll pull me to the side and say, ma'am, excuse me, what is lupus? And, and I'm like, wow, and it doesn't amaze me, because like I said, it's so little information out there about lupus. And then I'll tell them, and they always seem to know somebody that knows somebody that has this disease. So that's why I couldn't understand why we were so, underfunded and overshadowed. But as you know, October was Lupus Awareness Month, but they switched us over to May, which I don't understand that either. But I try to celebrate lupus awareness 12 months out of the year, because people need to know lupus is not going to go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. There's no cure. It's not going anywhere. So people need to know. And I just was at the store yesterday. A guy, I spoke, he looked at me, and I saw him, you could tell when somebody's watching you. He said, so how you doing? He said, well, I'm experiencing what you're experiencing. My wife is, and I was like, okay. And I immediately got my card out. I gave him my card and told him, tell her to call me, and we're going to get together, because that support is vital to make it. Because like I said, when people are judging you with the way you look, and it's not the way you feel, because people tell me all the time, oh, you look good, but they don't understand. I've had bilateral total hip replacements. I've had 3 spinal surgeries. I'm fighting paralysis right now as we speak. I've had 9 out of cardiac ablation. I mean, it was hard having my heart burned. That was hard, so I've had a hyotomy. It's so much you go through. I've met women that I didn't even know once I had my hip replaced. I didn't know every 10 years you have to have it replaced again. And I learned all this through the support group. So it's vital that that information is out there, because before Hats and Heels was birthed, there was nowhere in Mobile that we can go. We would just get on the internet and search little things, or search different groups, and they can only offer you so much, or maybe send you a pamphlet here or there. I connected with what God had planned for my life. I knew then, I said, yes, this needs to be out here. Because, God said we are to love and to serve one another. And so it turned into a ministry. And I'm able to, relate with other people, help them. They help me. We help each other. I used to feel bad about sometimes when I would post things on Facebook, but then I had a young man come to me, and he said, no, you help me. Keep posting. So I post so people can know this is real. People have a tendency of getting on social media and giving you this, what life should be like. And I try to give you the reality. I try to let you know that God's grace is sufficient. It's sufficient. And I feel as though he gave me this disease. You know what the word said, God will not put anything on you that you cannot handle. So in 2 Corinthians 12:9, I heard him speak, and my grace is sufficient. So if he gave it to me, if he brought it to me, he'll bring me through it. So I go through walking, no, whatever God is here. God will never leave nor forsaken me. And this is what I try to get out to the women and men in the support group. We're not alone in this. Even if no news station pick this up, if no one interviews, we're not alone. We got to stand together, so our voices can be heard in numbers. And that's why I birthed out Hats and Heels, because I knew it was a need in the community. I knew people needed somewhere to go and heal with each other. And that's what I've learned to do. I've learned to embrace and heal along with these women. I've had women, pull me to the side and say, well, I thank you for, doing this and saying this or doing that, because I couldn't, but I tell them all the time, we're a team, we're in this together. You know what I'm saying? We get through this together. When I can't, you can. When I'm down, you help me up. When you up or you down, I help you up. That's how it works.
That's the beautiful thing about support. Like, you just never know what people may think or what they may be feeling. But when you come together on common ground, you can have something to relate to, such as lupus. You can receive from someone that needs help in that area. That's the beautiful thing about support, and just coming together and just having common ground and just encouraging. That's so beautiful. I love it. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's helping so many people. And not just anything about lupus. I think that's what makes our platform so beautiful. Like, our listeners, you can apply the word to so many different things.
I don't think we could make it without the word. I know we couldn't make it without the word. You know, you know, I take about, I want to say about 25 medications. I do oral chemotherapy. I do a 6-hour infusion. I take oral chemotherapy every Wednesday. So I'm on 2 forms of chemotherapy. And most people be like, but I thought chemo was for cancer patients. Chemo is for lupus patients. Yeah. You know, most people be like, well, breast cancer or this cancer overshadowed us, and we have to support one another. It's all a struggle. It's all hard. It's all difficult. It all makes us lean more toward God.
Yeah.
You know, and lupus was not a hindrance for me. It was not a thorn in my flesh. Lupus made me humble myself and embrace God. It made me pull more to his word, lean more and trust him more and just need him more. It made me have a more passionate relationship with God. So all things, every experience that you think is bad, everything that you think is bad is not always bad. There's beauty in ashes. And that's what I found in lupus. I didn't know the strength that I had until I was able to deal with some of the things that I deal with going through with this disease. So I think lupus and the word go hand in hand, because the devil, he like to throw those fiery darts and tell you what you can't have, what you can't be, who you can't do, what you can't do. But I have to tell him all the time, I'm a child of the Most High God, and I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. Now, me by myself, I don't know, y'all. I don't know, but with God, I can conquer anything, because he's given us power. He's given us power to step on serpents and speak to scorpions and mindsets and strongholds and things that he said they won't harm us. And I believe every word he says. Every word is yes and amen. So I tell people all the time, I try not to overword them, but I tell them you're going to need the word. You're going to need the word, because that's what's going to sustain you in this time and in this hour. So we incorporate the word at Hats and Heels. We pray before each meeting. We send out, texts over each other's phone, because we know that's what we need. That's where our strength is. It lies in God. But I thank you guys for giving me this platform to let the people know that we do have a patient support group here in Mobile, Alabama, which is the only patient support group. And we do stand, we're partnered with the Lupus Foundation of America, Mid-South chapter. And our meetings are usually every 3rd Saturday of the month from 2 to 4 p.m. at Providence Hospital in Mobile, Alabama. But right now with the COVID-19, we've been on hold. So in January, in January 2021, we're going to resume our meetings via Zoom. So, yeah. But, yeah, thank you guys so much for what you're doing in the community.
So if someone wants to join the community, what do they need to do? Just reach out on the Facebook page?
Yes, we are on all social media platforms. We're 251 Glamourflies. That's what we call ourselves, because the butterfly is the lupus symbol, but we call ourselves the 251 Glamourflies. And so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. I mean, you go out there, we're out there. LinkedIn, we're there. We're here for you. You know, we're here for the community. We're here to educate. That's our mission. Our mission is dedicated to increasing awareness and teaching and implementing education and improving the quality of the lives with people diagnosed with this disease. We have a website, www.hatsandheelsinc.org, and you can go on the website and find out about what we do in the community. You can take a look at our board and see some of the things that we offer, our past walks and our annual Strutting for a Cure Day. And we're new, but we're young, but we're growing. We're growing. Yeah.
And I'm happy that people who get the diagnosis have somewhere to go, especially in Mobile. Because most people like, okay, yeah, you got to go to UAB. And it's like, you don't have a support group right in your home. So I'm glad that you are doing that and spreading awareness, because it's a lot that we don't know. Like you said, it's always somebody that you know with lupus, but you don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
One question I do have, how did you come up with the name Hats and Heels?
Interesting, because some days you heels days, I always like to say those are pretty fancy days. Pretty fancy days, you strut. So heels are like our pretty days when we're feeling good, when we at the top of the game. And then hats are for our hat days, when we need a spoon, or when we're sick, or when we're in the hospital, or when we're just not feeling so good. Some days we'll call them hat days or spoon days. So I combined the two, hats and heels.
That's perfect.
I like that.
Yeah.
Hats and heels.
Yeah, so because with lupus, you just don't know what kind of day you're gonna get. We've lost so many people to lupus, and we had a member we lost in 2017, Jasmine Haynes, and she succumbed from lupus. But we created the Monroe White Senior Scholarship Award in her honor. So what we do, we offer lupus patients a $500 scholarship. Well, in the previous years, I've been breaking them into 250, so two people can have a scholarship. But my goal is to one day be able to give like $5,000 for they, can at least have a spa day or vacation day, or just relax and enjoy, or something that they want to do that offers them peace with this disease. But I thank God that he's been able to he's been able to enable me to do this, and I thank the sponsors out here in Mobile, because Walmart has, my goodness, you guys, Walmart, and Sam's Club, everybody in the Mobile community has been amazing, and I just thank God for His grace that I'm able to do what I'm able to do for the community. Sometimes I'm on my walker, because y'all do know I use assistance. I have a cane, and some days I have to use my walker, and then some days I'm in my chair. But then some days I can do it, you guys. I can walk. I can, and I'm not complaining, because it could be worse. It could be worse, and I'm able to show them with God, we can do anything.
Yes.
And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that. With God, we can do anything. And you guys, y'all can do anything. This platform can, y'all can have over 2, 3, 4, 5 million viewers. You just got to trust God.
Auntie, I think you know what our next episode gonna be, because you didn't hit on it a couple of times. And it kind of leads me to my next question. We're currently in our 3P series, where we've been. The first one was perspective, second is priorities, and our next one will be power. So we wanted to ask the question: what scripture do you lean on, and kind of remind you of the power of God when you're going through those tough days and you just need some strength?
It's really difficult for me to kind of like narrow it down to one. It is, but I want to say I lean totally on 2 Corinthians 12:9, because I have a lot of things coming at me. You're never going to just have lupus. You're going to have probably fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, gestational diabetes, or nephropathy. You're going to have something that rides along with lupus. And with that, I had to trust God and know, that if he's given this to me, that his grace is right there for me to get through it. If he's giving it to me, you can get through it. I'm here. I'm right here. So I think that's the one I'll go with. 2 Corinthians 12:9. It's times I lay in my bed and I say, oh, why me? Or why this? And because I fight with infertility. And I said, oh God, and I couldn't have a baby and I couldn't do this. And then God said, why not you? If not you, then who? If not now, then when? And I said, I surrender, God. I surrender. And days when it's shown up hard, I mean, I can't even slide out the bed. It's like he gives me that grace. He gives me that grace to be able to do it. So with that being said, I thank you guys for what you're doing. I thank you for the platform you have. I pray that it grow and it will grow. And I want you girls to stay encouraged, stay focused. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care. You don't look at what it looked like. You push forward. You push forward what you're doing because it's a good thing and it's helping people. Because I know it has even reached into my household when my brother sat down and was speaking to me about you guys last with James, and we was talking about James and how we gonna count it all joy with what we're going through. So you guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed the interview. You encouraged me.
Yeah,
I know, man.
But I really appreciate y'all. I do.
We appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
enlightening.
Thank
And
you.
just want to encourage you to keep on going. I'm so just encouraged by just your testimony. Like even on your bad days, you continue to go. So continue to strut with your hats and your heels, honey, and your lipstick too.
I told a young lady yesterday. She said she was passing by our home in Trinity Garden. She said, "You just won't stop." And I said, "Well, if I stop, you don't never stop."
Yeah.
And she looked at me. She said, "You're right.
Yeah.
You don't stop. You don't stop. You don't stop. Don't stop." It's been times when I've been at our patient support group meeting, and it's only been me sitting at the table, crying, weeping, wondering why. Thought it was something with me. I thought it was the way I looked. I thought it was because I wasn't bright enough or skinny enough. Why won't they come? But then God said, you show up. And so I started showing up. I would show up with Chick-fil-A because it'd be so much food. I mean, it would be Red Lobster, gift cards, everything. I'm sitting right in there content and happy because this is what he told me to do.
Yeah.
I try to stay focused and not look at what anything looked like and just trust God.
I like that. Just do what he told me to do. That's
It's
all I'm
something
doing.
about being obedient to
That's
God.
right. And
So.
that's it. And I say this all the time. When God speaks to me and say, you don't have to tell me twice. You don't have to tell me twice. So, yeah, it's a blessing.
Well, we're definitely going to have you come back on the show when it's safe to meet in person.
Yes, I would love to. I would love to come back, and I would love to talk about our annual awareness day and our annual walk that we do here in the city of Mobile, our upcoming plans for a mayor ball in the city of Mobile. Yeah, we have big plans, and COVID-19 may have slowed some things down, but we're going to quit over here.
You
We're
said
going to
it. We're
quit
not
over
gonna
here.
stop.
Yes. Y'all have the platform now to reach this generation. And you can show people, because people don't know. You assume they know. You know what I'm saying? You assume they know. Oh, they at church or they here. They know. It's some people that's watching you guys wondering what you got that they don't have. And I try to tell everybody, we all have the Holy Spirit. You just have to submit to it. It's nothing one person has that another person don't have. God's grace is sufficient for us all. The same grace he gave Peter, Paul, and John, he'll give it to you.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you guys are doing an amazing job. And that's what I like when I saw y'all doing that reverse role and showing, put it out there, show them that it's cool to read the word. It's cool to journal. So that's great, you guys. That's great. Great
I don't know where my life will be like without it, because saved my life. Let me tell you something. But that's a whole nother video. We're gonna get off topic.
Yeah, whatever you need Obedience Podcast to do or be at, we'll be there. Just let us know.
Yeah.
We definitely want to support.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you guys.
I just have to keep what you said. I'm doing what God told me to do. No matter what it looks like, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, thank you for the motivational speaker. We didn't even pay for that.
I know, right?
We appreciate it. Y'all see what y'all can
God
get if
bless
y'all hire her to motivational speak for y'all.
So y'all be blessed.
And you too, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
So once again, I want to thank my aunt for coming on and sharing her story and doing something so powerful and just being obedient.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
And love to hear it. Thank you so much for the encouragement. We really appreciate it.
So we want you guys to remember to come on back so you can see the last part of our 3P series where we'll be talking about power. So we got a lot of perspective on how to reach out to God's power during this episode, so you want to be sure to catch the last part of the series.
That's right.
So until then, as always, be obedient. We'll see you guys next time.